Hello, this is Father Aaron Westman with the Glen Mary Home Missioners, and this is your Missioner Moment. My brothers and sisters, as we celebrate the Feast of Corpus Christi this weekend, I'd like to share a few words with you that are so important to me, and I think they're just so significant to our lives as Christians. But I must say at the outset that I do not live these words perfectly myself, not by a long shot. And so I too need to be converted to these words and converted to Jesus' love. In the feast that we celebrate this weekend, we believe in the real presence of Jesus Christ in the Eucharist, his body and blood in the elements of bread and wine. And this is very profound. It is a tremendous gift that is given to us as Christians. But what I want to argue is that if we believe in the Eucharist, the real presence of Christ, we also must believe in the body. That is the body of Christ. Believing that through baptism and the Eucharist, Christians are formed into a union, a family, a communion, the body of Christ, and the relationships between Christians are more profound than any relationship we have ever experienced in our lives, more profound than our relationships with our brothers, our sisters, our mother, or our father, or our grandparents. And if we really think about this, the consequences that believing in the Eucharist and also believing in the body have for our lives are significant. Think about it. If we really believe that other Christians are even more important to us than our brother and sister, then we as Christians would be the last people who would want to go to war. Why? Because going to war always risks the possibility that I might take the life of somebody else who is a member of the body of Christ. We've seen all kinds of these actions of racism in the last number of weeks, months, and years, and this has become very much at the center of our hearts and our minds at this time. Why should racism be so abhorrent to Christians? Not only do we understand this on the level of human dignity, but we can also see it on the level of the body. How could we ever think or act in a racist way towards another human being, especially if that person is a member of the body of Christ? This should be simply unheard of in our minds as Christians. And then there's the reality of Christianity throughout the world. We know that this day there are Christians, member of the body of Christ, who will go without food, who may starve to death, who perhaps don't have a home, who are migrants being pushed out of their countries, being pushed out of their homes. And then there are us Christians in different countries, perhaps countries that are more developed, who are privileged Christians, who have perhaps everything that we seemingly need, who have a home, who have a job, who have sufficient money, perhaps even who waste. And we have a blind eye to our brothers and sisters in the body of Christ throughout the world who are starving, who have no home, who should be more important to us in our lives than our own brother, our own sister, our own parents, our grandparents. My brothers and sisters, when we celebrate the Feast of Corpus Christi this weekend, let us believe wholeheartedly in the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. But let us also believe in the body and act accordingly.